the past couple weeks, we've been kind of doing maybe like the slow dance into tutorials. And today we're going to jump off the diving board and let's get after it. Okay? So I'm just going to walk you through some information, and a lot of it you've seen before because it came up in that text that I asked you to mark. So that's why we kind of looked at that a couple different times just so we could piece together some information. So first of all, why do we do tutorials? What's the purpose? Why do we care? What are we hoping to get out of this? So the last one's probably the most important. It's not just about getting help with your homework, although that is a really nice bonus that you can work through some things that maybe you don't fully understand. But the goal is to get a deep understanding and to really help you figure out how to solve and work through your confusions, that self-directedness, and really help you kind of be an active learner. Remember, we talked about that active learner, the person who's climbing up to the top of the water slide and sliding down and really getting after it, rather than floating on the lazy river, right? We want to solve our own problems and really make things happen. In order to do that, we have some goals, right? One of the goals is push each other's thinking, right? To challenge and to ask and to help your classmates think deeper, and they will help you think deeper. Okay, because it's not about giving the answers or teaching the answers. It's about helping you find the answer, right? Coming back to that self-directedness, helping you conquer things. You got this. Why collaborative groups? Why do we do it in a group? What are we trying to get? Well, no one knows everything, right? And so we can share our wisdom and our insight. You remember more when you work together. And obviously it helps you practice working together, right? That's our goal, is so that we can be stronger learners and work through things so that by the time you're ready to go take on the world, you're prepared and you got this. So we had some steps, right? Before the tutorial, there was these 3 steps, step 1 through 3. And this is that document that we looked at. Step 1, take notes. Come for some of your lives lately about taking notes, processing your notes, taking in the information, working with the information. How do I know I'm confused, what I'm confused on, what I need help with if I haven't done the work? Okay. Then take those notes. Step 2, while you're completing your homework and studying, review those notes and figure out where you're a little bit confused. What's a question that you're not understanding, and fill out your TRF, right? I promise we are going to get some practice in on filling out TRFs, and you're going to get good at it and how to process your thinking and hold all of that information there. You're going to do great things with that, okay? Some key pieces: initial question, vocab, prior knowledge, critical thinking. I'm asking you to think about your question before you get the opportunity to think about your question and share about your question. When you come in the room, right away, I'm going to check your TRF and make sure it's ready to rock. That's step 3 before our tutorial, okay? And then make sure you've got all the resources that you need. Do you have the notes you need? Do you have the textbook that you need? Do you have your Moodle stuff, right? That's all getting prepared, because then we actually launch into our tutorial. And this was steps 4 through 7. Step 4 was you're going to be in groups of 7 or fewer, right? And for us, that means probably 1 to 2 groups per class. You're going to sit ideally in a horseshoe shape, right? Why in a horseshoe? Well, now all the eyes are focused on the board and we can all engage together. If I've got my back to it, I'm turned this way or whatever, then I'm not that active participant. After we get set up, one person is going to share their point of confusion and kind of what they're thinking about and give, this says 30-second speech. We're actually going to stretch it and make it a 60-second speech. And then the group members are going to ask those questions to really help support that point of confusion. Okay? And while we're doing that, ideally the person at the board is going to make sense of what they're stuck on and start writing some ideas down and putting together what their group members are helping them with versus what they know, so that they can work toward the answer to that question. Okay, group members are not responsible for finding out the answer. The group members may know the answer, but it's not about them knowing, it's about the presenter knowing. And so we're trying to help them get to that goal. And then the tutor, right, those college tutors that are going to be with us, their job is to facilitate and support. Again, they're not meant to know the answer. They might know the answer, hopefully, but their job is to guide to the answer. That's the goal. Then, still during the actual tutorial process, once we've got it figured out, then we got to think about the steps, right? We're going to review the work that we did and articulate, in other words, speak and share and add information and power to the steps that you did while you were working, okay? And then step 5 and 6, step 7 is repeat, right? Lather, rinse, repeat. Do it over and over until we have the opportunity for everyone to get their voice heard and their point of confusion clarified. After we're done, okay, step 8, you're going to write a reflection of what you learned, right? I learned about my point of confusion. I learned this from helping someone. Now I understand this. First I thought, now I think, right? And then at the very end, we're going to go through and do some grading, right? That's kind of a piece of the puzzle. And then once everything's done, that very last step is just kind of tie everything together. And then what can we do better? What did you do well? What will you do better next time, right? That reflection on the actual learning. So not only reflection on your point of confusion, but reflection on the process as a whole. Okay? Now, obviously, you're going to take that and you are going to then go back to your content class. If your question was on math, next time you're in math, hopefully what you've done will make things better. So here's what's up. You remember 10% of what you read. If I just read this, I'm probably going to remember about 10% of it. If someone says it to me and I can hear it, now I'm going to remember 20%. If I see it and I can actually kind of visualize it, now I'm up to 30%. That's a third. We're still not passing yet. 50% if I see it, hear it, and talk about it. 70% if I discuss it. Oh, so now I'm starting to make ideas and connections and talk with the person sitting next to me. That's a discussion. Now we're at 70%. Now we're doing all right. 80% of what you do. Right? If you never do your math homework, how much of it are you actually going to learn? If you never do a lab in physics, how much of that are you actually going to retain? And then 90% of what you say and do. So now I'm doing it and I'm talking about it and I'm living in it. Okay? So that very last paragraph is saying, you know what, if I just read about it, it's not going to do me any good. If someone just tells me how to do it, it's not going to do me very good. If I just have someone show me how to do it, not very good. But if I get the chance to live in it and ask questions about it and make clarifications about it, do all that, that's what we're trying to get to with our tutorial process. So those 10 steps from the beginning where you're doing your work in class, setting up your TRF, which we practiced in class or will practice in class, actually presenting it and asking questions, engaging in that process, and then closing it out with a reflection, those 10 steps are what a tutorial is. It's not just the time at the board. It's not just your TRF. It is the entire process. And it's about making you a better learner so that you can take on the world. Okay? So I want to know some thoughts you have about this. We are going to start our first tutorials next week after MEA break, and I'm so excited to see what you've got. So please let me know what questions you have, where you feel strong, where you feel like you might need a little bit of help, because I want this to be an awesome experience for you. So ready, go?